Um, but, you know, all the while I'm thinking, I'm working, and I started to really think about the idea of painting itself. And, you know, after 20 years of painting, and pardon me, William de Kooning once said that after a while, all painting becomes painting. And that is something that has really stuck in my mind. And I think there's something to be said for that. That no matter what the nature of your series is, or how you paint, or what you paint, it still comes down to painting. And I think there's something to be said for that. And again, another quote from Clement Greenberg, you know, the truth of art lies, as for any genuinely ambitious artist, somewhere beyond what he knows he can do. And as painful as that has proven to be, failing, I'm determined to get to somewhere where I can't see, where I don't know I can do what I'm about to partake in. And so recently, I've come upon an idea that is probably the most conceptual idea I've had as a painter, and it's based on the idea of that the uniqueness of or rarefied individual painting and the worth of that. What's the worth of that? Coming from, again, probably my relationship with commercial galleries, I'm a bit opposed to the rarefied individual painting, and so I've come upon this idea of a series based on the rotation of the moon around the Earth. The working title, now keep in mind these early days, so things might change, but hopefully not going to be thrown out. It's roughly called the Sidereal series. And so the sidereal rotation of the moon is roughly 27.3 days. I've always struggled or questioned the length to which you can take a series. And this is really nice because it gives me an end point. The point 3, I'm not sure what to do. Yeah. I think it'll be 27 or 28, I'm not so sure. But the initial painting is derived from a cell phone image taken from my balcony of the moon. And, you know, I must say, throughout this year I've been with cell phone images. And I like them because they're terrible. And, you know, they speak to the inundation of imagery in our culture, the throwaway. You know, there was a time when we would all gather around and look at our family photo albums, and, you know, there was something precious about that. Now, you know, Facebook, the internet, images are a dime a dozen. You know, what happens to images now? And as a painter, I like imagery. So one painting is based on this printed version of this photograph. And then from there, I paint the painting immediately prior to it. So there's 28 paintings of the same thing, but variations from the original painting. So I'm doing paintings of paintings of paintings of paintings. You know, the serial artist is nothing new. Warhol, you know, comes to mind, obviously. The minimalist artist, Carl Andre. And there's a great Japanese-American artist named An Kawara, who since 1966 has painted, you know, sign painting, the date. He's painted the date every day since 1966. And I like that. You know, this idea and my struggle with art and painting as labor, this has helped a lot. You know, I've looked back on 18 years of painting Hudson's Bay blankets and thought, how can I use this to benefit my personal practice? And again, you know, even though there's a defined end point, I like the idea of the moon being roughly in a continuous rotation. So in a perfect world, you know, I would present this body of work there would be no beginning and end. Then the relationship to the individual painting would be thrown into question. And, you know, as these grow in my studio in numbers, they take this idea takes on that surprise. You know, every new painting I add, wow, the optical, among other things, quality of the work really fascinates me because it's a bit bewildering. They're all very mundane. You know, everything that I tell my students not to do. You know, a dot in the middle of a painting. You know, that's pretty banal. But I like the banal nature of it, pardon me. And again, as working in this series, it's not an attempt to produce a mysterious or beautiful object at all, but to create work that functions kind of like the artist being a clerk cataloging the results of my idea. And I like that, and I think it references a lot more of the whole idea of painting, beyond getting caught up in the glory of the mark. You know, I love oil painting, I love that mark, but wow, you can really fall into a trap being kind of like a hooker, you know, she's flaunting her wares, and you gotta keep it at bay. I can really fall into that. There's, you know, recently I've seen again on the internet, there's a California artist named Paul McCarthy, installation video performance artist, and there's one scenario he does about painting, and it's really disturbing, but really on the mark. He represents himself as a painter with a huge paintbrush and all these giant tubes of paint, and his hands, he's got prosthetic hands that are way too big, and he's mumbling and fighting and cursing about the battle of painting and the demons, and it's a bit of a rub against modernism, but it's true. And so, you know, as I end this discussion, this work, I'm not sure where painting is ever going to take me, but I'm determined to progress with it, and it means more to me than anything ever has in my life. And that can be problematic, putting that much emphasis on something that is so intangible, but that self-motivation and desire in that room in art school that I found, wow, I'm grateful that I found that.